Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am your host, MrBooMStickXL, and this, of course, is Gaming News at Noon with Salty and Boom. And I'm here with my amazing co-host, Salty from Saltiest Gaming. Salty, welcome, my brother.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday edition of the show. I'm doing great, guys. I'm super happy to be back. Week flew by. You know, it's the holiday season. When holiday shopping slash Christmas shopping with the wife last night.
Nice.
Did a nice juicy review for Ashen. It's all good, man.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked. Literally, I'm have goosebumps because I'm so excited to do today's show. And of course, because it's a new show, we're gonna give you all the gaming news you could want. So let's start out with something that's good. Forza's Horizon 4's Fortune Island DLC goes live tomorrow, and I cannot wait. But the achievement list was just revealed on Windows Central. So if you're interested, go over there and check that out. Salty, are you really hyped for this expansion?
Yeah, I played Forza Horizon 4, which I'm not a racing fan, so that in itself speaks volumes of how good this game is. I kind of have not played it in a long time. I got into other games, tons of games have been released since that time, so I haven't, been playing it, but the fact that this expansion's coming out, it's getting me hyped again to get back in there. And it's just going to get me in there. I'm going to play with my friends. More than likely, we have a Discord that we try to, team up and do some races there. So yeah, man, I'll be going back in there for sure.
Yeah, well, listen, I've put probably around 30 something hours into the game. Loved it. It's a game that I will continue to go back and forth to. Obviously, it is the fall. So, of course, everyone's time is pretty much everywhere. But let's move on to the next topic. The PlayStation 5 should be releasing soon. But I have some incredible news, of course, if you are a Bloodborne fan. Because according to Vati Vadaya, who's a very popular Souls fan, he has information on his channel where he is suggesting in a new video that Bloodborne 2 could, in fact, be a launch title for the PlayStation 5. Now, as previously reported from Software's PSVR title, Dracene featured an item referred to as the Fiona doll, which contains an interesting nod to Bloodborne, and this is what the description reads: a doll of the stone girl Fiona who appears in the unfinished tale. When a person has a bad dream, Fiona appears and helps them flee. This doll is also performing the make contact gesture, which suggests that the Bloodborne tale isn't over. Now, Salty, we were talking prior to going live, and you, of course, are a huge Souls
Yes.
fan. Just how big could Bloodborne 2 be as a launch title for the PlayStation 5?
I think it's huge, man. This news, I would say it's one of the most requested news stories when it comes to PlayStation and the games and the sequels there. Bloodborne arguably is one of the best Souls games out there. It's made from the same developers as Dark Souls. I haven't personally played it. I've been fiending to play it. Like, you guys don't understand. It's one of the titles that I've just it's one of the titles that would push me to get a PlayStation, and I'm actually debating whether or not to play it on PS Now. I'm that desperate, right? There's a 7-day trial. I got a brand new PC. I have some pretty fast internet. They said I've watched some videos on it, and they said that there's a little bit of input lag, but with those type of games with precision rolling and stuff like that, I don't know. I mean, I die enough on my own. I don't want to add lag there, so I don't know. It's a tricky subject to be, but I know for a fact that Bloodborne is beloved by PlayStation fans around, even people that don't like the Souls games, like Dark Souls, because it's a different type of combat situation. Because in Dark Souls, it's a slow burn, right? You got shields, you got the way you can block, you can riposte, and all this other stuff. In Bloodborne, it's more fluid, it's fast. It's not about like shields, it's about faster combat. And a lot of people love that they move towards that model, because in Dark Souls it's kind of a slower burn. Like I said, to each their own, but for Bloodborne, that's what they went to, and they went to a different model when it comes to the shrines and all this other stuff. But I think Bloodborne would be an awesome title for them for the PS5, because Bloodborne initially released, what year was that? 2014.
It's been a while since we saw anything with Bloodborne, and I think that it's high time, especially in a PlayStation 5 launch era possibility, that it would be huge. It's a game that I think would move consoles like no other.
Oh, for sure, dude. Bloodborne console, you know.
Oh man, yes. Now you're talking. Now, yes. Now I didn't even actually think about that, but you know what? You got to tip your hat to Sony. It's one of the biggest issues I've had with Microsoft this generation. When they go in hard on a game, you get custom consoles, you get custom controllers, you get the works. It may be a sticker to some, but if you're a fan of that particular game or franchise, it's a big deal. And I'm not the biggest Bloodborne fan, but I know how good the game is, and the fan base is rabid. And I think that they would be, besides themselves, bananas if Bloodborne 2 was, in fact, a launch title.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, let's move on to the next topic. The Game Awards came and went. Lots of reveals, but in complete shocking form, Ed Boon of Mortal Kombat fame walked out on stage to present an award for Best Sports/Racing, which I thought was a little odd, considering his background is fighting. But in typical Ed Boon fashion, everyone that was watching was blown away at the announcement of Mortal Kombat 11, where their longtime favorites, Scorpion and Raiden, basically tore each other to pieces. But for today's episode of Gaming News at Noon, the reveal is what we're going to talk about. If you've been a fan of the series as long as I have been, and I was there since the No Blood Super Nintendo version, so I've been playing Mortal Kombat a very long time, the regular roster of characters are great, but it's the guest DLC characters that are usually the story beyond the actual game. And as of today's date, here's the list of guest characters that have been in the Mortal Kombat universe. You had Jason Voorhees, Alien, Leatherface, Predator, Kratos, and Freddy Krueger. Now, they're all great murderers if that's what you like. But I have 4 or 5 picks that I think should come into fruition, and I want to get yours first, Salty. So if you were designing this game, or you had any influence on what they could add as DLC characters, who would you pick?
All right, one of my first ones would be Pennywise. I think
that's a great one.
Right? Yes. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yes.
Another one would be maybe RoboCop. I know that's kind of weird, but
listen, they have robots there, dude. That's a great pick.
RoboCop, Pennywise, and then just anything that would be brutal. I'm trying to think about, because you got to do deep dives into like horror movies or anything like that. Maybe the Scream character could be in there or something like that.
That's cool. Yes.
Those would be my picks. Pennywise is probably my top pick, but because you could do some crazy stuff with him, because he can transform into different things. It's pretty much sky's the limit there. So you could imagine the fatalities that he would do,
Yeah, that's actually a really good pick. So I'm going to give you mine. Actually, because I'm a gentleman, I'm going to give you Mrs. Boomsticks, because I talked it over with her and she had a great one. Riddick from Pitch Black would be a fantastic addition, because he's such, he again with those blades, the guy is lethal. So Mrs. Boomstick's pick is Riddick from Pitch Black, and here are my 3. Number 1 on the list is one of my all-time favorite movies, and Ash from the Evil Dead franchise fits in perfect in the Mortal Kombat world. Next up, because they have a good working relationship with DC Comics, I would love to see the Red Hood from the Batman universe being there. He's also extremely violent, and he would be good. And this is an oldie but goodie, Terminator 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger version from the Terminator franchise would be good. And after you beat him once, his skin could be ripped off and he can have the exoskeleton. And I think that would be awesome. But as we know, Mortal Kombat 11 has been announced for all 3 consoles. And I personally think each console version should have their own specific guest character along with other entries into the game. And here are my 3 picks for the 3 consoles. I don't think this is a no-brainer. I would love to see Marcus Phoenix from the Gears franchise as a guest character for the Xbox. For the PlayStation 4, and I think you're going to dig this, Salty, the Hunter from the Bloodborne franchise would work perfectly in MK. And on the Nintendo side, which, I'm actually surprised the game is even coming out on that console. But if I had to,
seriously,
I don't even know how it's going to work. But whatever, I'm interested to see. I would love to see Ganondorf from the Zelda franchise be a guest character. I don't know. I mean, what do you take on guest characters? They're going to have a season pass, and do you think we're going to hear about it sooner than later?
Yeah, man, that'd be dope if they could somehow do that. The only player that would definitely not take part of this is Nintendo. They cradle their characters, you know what I'm saying? But Microsoft definitely, I don't like Gears is that the gory franchise. I'm trying to think of like other franchises that you go out there. You can pick any kind of character, maybe Kate, throw her in there. It doesn't matter. Like really, they just use that, the chainsaw on people and stuff like that and do other things. With PlayStation, Kratos would be cool. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, well, he's been in there once before. I think he's been in there once before. Yeah, actually, he has been in once before. I just confirmed that with my notes. I forgot I even said it. But yeah, Kratos, to bring him back, the new Kratos.
The new Kratos with the beard and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually, that'd be kind of dope. But let's move on to the next topic. In a recent email I just received from the Sony Corporation regarding my PSN account, I want to pose a few questions. But before I do, here is what the email said. Hello, Mr. BoomStick. As a reminder, after March 8th, 2019, the monthly games provided to the PlayStation Plus members will no longer include the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita. Of course, that someone's going to ring the bell right as I'm doing my monologue. But you know what? Listen, I'm going to continue because they could just go to hell. Okay. So, real life people, I apologize. With this email that I received, I already knew that the PlayStation 3 and Vita games were being taken away. But to be completely fair, I really don't have a problem with that. And as a person who proudly supports all 3 consoles, I'm very excited to see what finally happens here. And this is why. The PlayStation Vita and PS3 titles don't interest me at all. But I personally think it's going to open the door for Sony to really put the pressure on Microsoft when it comes to how many PlayStation 4 games as well as PlayStation VR they add monthly. Now, think about this for a second. We have all complained that games with gold is not that good, right? What are your takeaways on the possibility of Sony adding 2 more games, giving 4 games away, possibly adding VR games? What do you think, Salty?
All right, so let me see here. This could go 2 ways, really, because I think it could be a positive for consumers, or it could be a negative, because once you take products away, it can go to the negative side because people were receiving something for free. And even though it's the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, there's some people that do like to get games for those, that do have those consoles. So I've heard some people that said that they're going to actually cancel their membership because of this policy change. And, that's unfortunate. So there's that side of things, is people, once you give them free stuff and you take it away, it kind of pisses them off. But on the other side, on the like looking at the glass half full, like you were saying, I think that this could be a positive because you are able to not have to, give out as much when it comes to the older consoles, and you can give higher quality games when it comes to the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed that they're going to add more games to it, which I'm kind of skeptical. It'd probably just stay at 2, in my opinion. And then with the PlayStation, like the VR games, I don't know about that either, because they're trying to push that out, and not everybody owns that. So if they do up the quality of games that they give out for the PlayStation 4, I think that's amazing, because I've said it specifically that I think that games with gold should cut out the backwards compatible titles, because, you know, it is what it is. They should focus on giving out quality titles for the Xbox One. Even if you have to cut out one of the Xbox One titles, give out one game a month. And if it was one solid game every month, I'd be on board with that, if that makes sense. So,
You know, it does make sense, Salty, but here's my thing. Okay. Now you take, hold on just a second.
Yeah. Yeah. Technical difficulties, people. How's everybody doing in the chat? Would you guys like to see Xbox take out the backwards compatible titles, maybe even take out one of the Xbox One titles to up the quality of the game per month? Like, what if you got a AAA big title that you could look forward to every month, instead of, you know, some of these half-assed titles that you're putting in there? Like, let's imagine I would prefer quality over quantity, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, listen, I agree with you. And I want to apologize for the 18th time that people keep ringing my bell all day. All day I'm home, no issues. The minute I go live, the bell rings. I apologize, folks, but I want to talk about the possibility of getting PlayStation VR. Now, here's the thing. I'm a supporter. I'm so much a supporter that I bought every game day one. Last year, upgraded to the new version so I can have HDR pass through, and been chomping at the bit to get as many VR games as I can. Now, I can't afford them all. So this would be a great opportunity for people like myself who support PlayStation VR and every year re-up with Sony to get games that we care about. I don't care about the, you know, like everyone, like, I can't believe you actually said live on the air that people are canceling their subscriptions because PS3 games and Vita games are being taken away. That, I find it to be preposterous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So me personally, I'm right there with you. I think the quantity isn't as important as the quality, but man, I mean, you know, like again, going back to games with gold, they've had some good months, right? And obviously, I think that their focus away from that is completely on Game Pass. Like, you look at what they've done in December for Game Pass, and it's just bananas. So I can understand there's only so many games you can give away. But I agree with you. If you can't give away quality games, then just don't give them away.
Yeah. I think Ron Pato said he'd take quantity. I don't know, man. You could get some pretty shit games, you know, like a lot of them, and then you won't play them all. You'll have a lot of games, but you won't want to play them, you know. So it is what it is.
I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone's opinion counts. If he wants more games that aren't as, I don't know, you hate to put a price tag, because just because a game is $50 doesn't make it a good game. If a game's $70 doesn't make it a good game. The game could be $20 and be the best thing since sliced bread. But I would, for this particular situation with Sony, they're going to take away something. They have to put something on the back end. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be PlayStation VR. I'm very excited to see where they go. But let's move on to the next topic. Great news for anyone who purchased the season pass for The Walking Dead, the final season. And basically, we all sat back and saw the implosion of Telltale Games earlier this year. But thanks to Robert Kirkman's Skybound Games, the story resumes on January 15th. Now, this information I pulled from GameInformer.com. And at the Kinda Funny Game Showcase, hosts Greg Miller and Tim Geddes announced the new details about The Walking Dead, the final season. The finale to the long-running episodic series based on Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead comic was caught in limbo when Telltale closed abruptly, leaving 2 of the 4 planned episodes unfinished. Now, Salty, this to me is what I would consider a video game hero. Robert Kirkman, who owns this company, who takes The Walking Dead very serious. That's his baby. And obviously, there were many fans that were left in the cold. Clementine is one of those characters that people grew up with, so to speak, right? They saw her from when she was basically a 6-year-old, right? And all the way up until now, we never thought that Telltale would close, but more specifically, that we would never get an end to her tale. And the fact that Robert Kirkman stepped in and is actually going to finish the series is a big deal. But here's my question to you, Salty. Are you happy to hear that Clementine's story arc is going to be finished, and more so that Kirkman Skybound Games grabbed as many Telltale employees as he could to make sure that they had jobs? And obviously, we're going into the holiday season. This, to me, is a big deal.
Yeah, this makes total sense to me. Robert Kirkman, it's his baby. It'd be like anybody, like Stan Lee, rest in peace. If he was, creating these characters and, their stories are being told and stuff like that, and it's in a video game and it has to do with, lore and stuff like that, and a lot, like a character's created through those series, and it's beloved, and then all these fans get to know them and love them, and it's part of their lives, and all of a sudden it's just boom, ended abruptly. I don't think any creator of a comic book or any kind of a story like that would see that and want it to continue. They want to see these fans happy and get the story told. He said that Clementine is just as important to get her story told as Rick, right? He was saying that, Rick,
yes, good point,
is important. He's a main character, and she is involved in some other storylines, but she's just as important. So if you close that and you don't finish it bothers him. And I could definitely see that as, like, if I created something and it didn't finish, it would bother me too, right? So it makes sense. It's cool that he's hiring some of these employees as well, because it's kind of tough in the industry to keep your job a lot of the times because stuff like this happens. I mean, studios close and stuff like that, and it's good, man. I props to him, and hopefully it will end on a high note and everybody will be happy.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I like where you're going with this, because obviously, like I said, like we both said, it's the holiday season, and not knowing where your next paycheck is going to come from is devastating in itself. But not being able to buy gifts for your loved ones, I think, is even worse. And according to the article, his company grabbed as many as they could. They didn't leave anybody out in the cold. Anyone that was with them that wanted a job, they took them. And there's a couple of ways to look at it. Besides it being almost like a superhero swooping in and saving someone from a bus wreck, or a train wreck, whichever one you want to pick. The Walking Dead series could potentially continue if he has enough people from Telltale that know what they're doing, and he wants to remember he owns the rights to it, and obviously Telltale is out of business. So if he wanted to produce new content in the same format with a new team under his umbrella, he could do that, and that is, to me, is exciting.
Yeah, man. If you own the rights, the sky's the limit. And The Walking Dead consistently with Telltale was one of the most popular of the series, right? There's other ones that were kind of along the lines, but the ones that made money, that actually made profit, was The Walking Dead. And we all know what that series is doing with the TV show. I think it's kind of had a resurgence. Yeah, it's weird because, like, I don't watch the show. I haven't watched it in a few seasons, but I've heard from other people, and they said it's getting back to where it's supposed to be with zombies, and
there's a horror element to it now with the whisperers that really make it creepy. And the season finale, the mid-season finale, was absolutely bananas. So like I said, I think it's on Netflix, so you could catch up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. I forgot what season I stopped at, but I'm gonna probably just binge it and then catch up, because I was just worried that it was just on this, like, down spiral. You know what I'm saying?
No, dude.
And
Yeah, you
so
know what? I'm gonna be fair, okay? And we're not gonna turn this into a TV show because this is a video game show. But to be fair, there were some seasons that were a little tough to get through. This new season is unbelievable because it takes place 6 years in the future. It's bananas, dude. It's really, really well done. There's a horror element that was missing that is back right in your face. That you literally are scared for your favorite characters that they're not just going to drop off the map. So, but yeah, again, good on Skybound Games, good on Robert Kirkman for protecting his interest, which is The Walking Dead, and more specifically, giving the people that lost their jobs abruptly work. And I think that's a big deal. But I want to move on to the next topic, and I think it's a good one. Nintendo, one of my favorite companies, applies for a new Super Mario Galaxy and Metroid Other M trademarks, and I personally could not be happier. With the big three console makers, older titles from yesteryear are always a talking point. Microsoft has its unmatched backwards compatibility program. Sony has PS Now, the streaming service that you take it or leave it. But Nintendo is the only one who has in the past re-released classic N64, GameCube, and Wii titles on the 3DS and now Switch. They somehow are okay to get away with it. Well, with all the new information that I've acquired from one of my favorite sites, comicbook.com, this is what they had to say on the matter. A new report suggests that a pair of Wii classics could be coming back very soon. Japanese Nintendo has noted, and that's a website, that 2 trademarks have been filed for the Wii re-release of Super Mario Galaxy, which I loved that game, and Metroid The Other M. And this is the note that was attached. It says, Nintendo Company Ltd. has applied for a Super Mario Galaxy and Metroid Other M trademark in Japan for purposes including video game program, downloadable video game program, and program for smartphone. Now, Salty, here's the thing. I said it in the opening. Nintendo can get away with this, and guess what? They get my damn money every time because I love the brand. And I would love to play Super Mario Galaxy on my Switch on the go. What are your takeaways on someone who yourself owns a Switch?
yes, so I predominantly play my Switch handheld, and I know that's not the case for most people, which
For
is
me, it's
strange
not.
to me. Yeah. It's just it's weird because I prefer that, and it's just the way it's been for me because I haven't really ever owned a portable console except for the Game Boy, and we're talking about like how that wasn't like the Game Boy Color. That was like straight up, like basic fat Game Boy, with Pokemon and stuff. So that was the last portable console I owned. So what stood out to me with the Switch, the reason it drew me back in to the fold, because I've been a Nintendo guy and an Xbox guy. The thing that drew me in was the ability to play on the go and then dock it. It's just the concept to me is bonkers, So that got me to get back into the Nintendo ecosystem, and the possibilities of playing these old games are insane. And I think Nintendo understands this. And like, I just signed up for Nintendo Switch Online today.
Me too. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. So you know why we're signing up, right? It's just the Smash Brothers situation and all this other stuff. They can capitalize on these older games, and it's going to be interesting how they choose to go about it, because I've heard some rumors about the N64 possibly coming in as a collection per se, not actually a retro console. Maybe selling it as a game. It's kind of a weird concept, but like having all the games contained into a game that you would put on a cartridge, or you can buy it digitally online and they would be all there available. Or you have virtual consoles as a concept. You have the Nintendo Switch Online, which is a possibility, but up to this point, it's only been classic NES games. So they need to push forward into Super Nintendo, and it would take a while for them to get all the way up to the Wii, right? So it would be interesting to see how they're going to implement these ideas or these trademarks, but they need to take advantage of nostalgia. Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, there needs to be a way for them to not just have these games contained in these classic consoles, man. The Switch is perfect, man. I'd love to play all these games on my Switch and be able to buy them or even play them, but it's not available right now. And I think it's a misstep. They need to implement it soon rather than later. So.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It is, in my opinion, a missed opportunity. But if I had a choice of to bring back 3 games, onto the Switch that I think would be perfect, either in handheld mode or on the TV, I don't care either way. My 3 would be Super Mario Sunshine, which was amazing, F-Zero GC, which is GameCube, of course, and we've heard rumors of this, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, simply because I bought the game, hated the controls with the Wiimotes, and never played it. And to think right now, if they can move that over to a controller setup, I would play the game like it was new because I never experienced it. What about you, Salty? What would you bring back?
I'm a Nintendo 64 fanboy, and I know we're talking about these other titles, but like I said, I mean, anything that you like Mario 64, I would collapse right now. I'd be like, oh shit, I get to play that. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite games of all times. Like you put a 64 title on the end of those bad boys, Donkey Kong 64, any of that, man. I just love that console so much, man. It holds a special place. But yeah, man, anything that they could put there, like I said, that are these older titles and that they don't wait any longer. I mean, the console's been out a while. The popularity is there. It would sell like hotcakes, man. I don't know, man. They just need to do something, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think, you know, again, listen, we still don't have a definitive answer as to why there's no virtual console.
Yeah.
We have, you and I both recently subscribed to the yearly online service, so-called online service for $20. You got all those retro games. It's great. They're adding new ones, even better. But you know what? I would love, even if I have to repurchase Super Mario World for the 80th time, let me do it, please, because that's a game that is perfect for the go with the Switch. And I think it's a missed opportunity. But listen, we'll move on to the next topic. Keeping with Nintendo, everyone watching this year's VGAs were shocked to see that Joker from the extremely popular Persona 5 series on the PlayStation 4 was going to be a selectable character in Smash Brothers Ultimate. And you know what? This is a story that I pulled from Gaming Bolt, one of my favorite sites. But that's not the story here. The story here is that according to several rumors, Persona 5 may be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I think that's a big deal. Nintendo's president comments on Persona 5 for the Nintendo Switch, and if it's true, like I said, it's a big deal. Has there been any game that has been more requested for the Nintendo Switch than Persona 5? Well, I don't think so. It's at the top of the list. But this is what the president, ReggieFils-Amie, had to say about the subject while he was speaking to IGN. You know, I can't comment on that, he said. Again, from our perspective, we've been clear. We want all the best content on our platform, all the best content, all the best developers. And so our job is to continue growing the install base for the Nintendo Switch to drive engagement of our players. Also, we want to grow the audience as big as we can. As that happens, then developers see the opportunity to partner with them. Okay? Now, is he basically saying, yep, we'll announce it at the upcoming Nintendo Direct and tune in if you're a Nintendo Switch owner? What do you think, Salty? Do you think this is a lot of PR speak to say that, yeah, it's coming, but we're not ready to announce it yet?
I think it pretty much all but confirms that this is going to the Switch. Like, it makes sense, right? they put the character in Smash. It's kind of I scratch your back, you scratch our back, and we put it on your consoles. We sell a buttload of titles. We all win, right? So this title would work perfectly on the Switch.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
You know, it's a Japanese title and all that good stuff. I think that a lot of people have been asking for it. I think the only other game would be Metroid in my mind, where they've been clamoring for that and stuff like that. But when it comes to a title that was on the PlayStation and coming on over, I think it would work perfectly in this, you know, environment for the Switch. Put it on the go, play it. I mean, even the people that, you know, experienced it on the PlayStation, they could buy it on the Switch, play it portably, and have a different experience. You know, like if they love the title that much, then that would be perfect for them. I was super surprised that, you know, Joker was announced as a character, and then when Reggie spoke about it, he said, you know, the next characters that they announce aren't going to be characters that you think are going to be in Smash Brothers. You know, it's going to be kind of off the wall picks. So it kind of sparks my interest as to where they're going to go in the directions of the DLC characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes to a point where you're like, well, what games are they going to pull the next characters from? You know, I don't think Banjo-Kazooie is going to be coming, honestly.
Don't
I think
say it, man, because
I know it's too obvious for me. Like, the way Reggie was talking, he said it's not a character you're going to think. So I don't, it's unfortunate, but I don't think that that's going to be the case for it. So.
Yeah, you know what? Who knows? The only thing that we do know about the Smash DLC characters is that they have never been in the game, and they had to make them from the ground up. That is why they didn't officially announce everyone but Joker. So we have the first one. There are 4 others coming. My toes, fingers, and my whatever else I can cross will be crossed to see that Banjo-Kazooie finally makes it in, because, my God, they're absolutely perfect for it. But let's move on to the next topic. Are you a Street Fighter V fan? And do you like commercials? Well, unfortunately, if you don't like commercials and you are a Street Fighter fan, new information from Engadget claims that there's going to be commercials added to the PlayStation exclusive Street Fighter V. Now, Salty, here's the thing, okay? I've been gaming for 40 plus years. And I know that in the esports realm, there's marketing deals. People get stuff tattooed on them. They wear stuff on their backs. They hold drinks. Like in sports, It's Gatorade or Powerade or whatever. But I have never seen a game that I purchased, that I pay $60 for, or I buy the season pass and pay $100 for. And now you're telling me that I have to have commercials in my game. Now, here's the thing. On February 16, 2016, I was all in for Street Fighter V. It was an exclusive for the PlayStation 4, and I didn't care because I've been playing the Street Fighter series since it was in the arcade, putting up my quarters, and I was excited. It looked amazing. But as we all know, the game released absolutely one of the most broken games I've ever personally spent money on. Now, I bought the collector's edition, no surprise there, which Ryu is sitting right in front of me. But here's the thing. With everything already we know about Street Fighter V, it's the worst selling in franchise history. Now, if you fast forward to 2018, to Capcom's credit, the fighter has received numerous updates in the form of proper story mode, a proper arcade mode, and 3 character DLC packs. Fighting game fans are used to ads and tournaments, but not in their Street Fighter. What do you think? What are your takeaways when I even presented this story to you? Were you as shocked as I was?
Yeah, honestly, it kind of triggers me, to be honest. Makes me salty because I can see where this will go.
Yes.
I know that this is a direction that I don't want to see in our games, because imagine the possibilities, right? I've played some mobile games that are free to play, per se. And you guys know, like, that ads are played or whatever. You could skip those ads, or you have to watch a certain amount of ads before you can get like the currency to play certain games on mobile. It's insane the direction that they could take with this, honestly, if they open it up like, hey, we're going to put ads in here. We're going to put ads all over the place wherever we want them. Maybe there will be an interruption to your gameplay per se, maybe in between matches. You can watch this video, or you can pay a certain amount of money to skip the ads. Like there might be a pass to skip ads per se. Do you see what direction that I'm going here?
Yeah, it's not a good one. I could tell you that right now. It's not good.
So you put the consumer in that situation, and it's just not a direction I want to see these games go, because it's just something that I see in mobile games, and like for some of these Facebook games, when I used to be on Facebook, like Farming Simulator or whatever that the game is called, that the moms used to play. They would send you like messages and stuff like that. Hey, click on this and blah blah blah, because they want to get extra moves or whatever they needed to get in their game that they couldn't get without spending money. It's just, I don't want to see it, man. I don't want to see it in my games. And this is not, I would boycott Street Fighter, man. I would uninstall the game. I would do whatever I can, write the company and say, I'm not going to put up with this as a consumer. This is bullshit. We're not going down this road. Like it doesn't make sense, so.
Well, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I've been gaming a very long time, Salty. And in my history, I have seen some very strange things. And there's some things that I'm willing to accept. Ads in a game that I paid full boat for, and a person. I mean, listen, most people that follow me know my gaming habits, right? I buy collector's editions. I buy season passes. I go in big on a game that I like. And maybe that's not the way to go moving forward, but it's the way that I've always been. So it's going to be hard for me not to, see a game coming out. Like, for instance, when Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, I bought the most expensive edition. Now, I'm sadly, I bought it digitally when I should have bought the one with the collector's statue, because it looks amazing. And I don't have that, which I'll try and get separately. But I was all in on that. I was all in on Street Fighter 5. I bought all the DLCs. And now, even though I don't play it as much as I probably should, you're telling me that as of yesterday, I'm going to have in-game ads. Now, this is a little bit more information regarding this story. While you can switch off the ads, you'll lose extra fight money and access to sponsored material. Get this, like costumes. So this is where it gets really out of control, because now what you're telling me is I have to watch this shit. And if I don't, I can't get that dope, I don't know, Ryu or Ken outfit on a game that I spent, let's see, I bought the collector's edition, was $130. I bought the season pass, and I got all the deals. I want to say I spent about $200 so far on Street Fighter. And you're telling me that I'm going to miss out on content. This is a bad move. And I'm going to say this. Look, this isn't a PlayStation thing. This isn't an Xbox thing. This isn't a Switch thing. I'm going to say this. Capcom, if you're listening to this small, tiny program, stop doing exclusives. Not because I don't want to see Sony have exclusives, but the failure of Street Fighter 5 was because it launched broken, and it was specifically on the PlayStation 4, which normally does not support the fighting community as much as some of the others. If this would have been a multi-plat game, maybe we don't see commercials. What are your takeaways on that, Salty?
All right, so real quick, I just have a thought on this whole matter. Like, there's marketing and there's ways to sneak in marketing. Like, when we're watching movies, we're getting a lot of ads, but it's not like an ad per se. Like, if they drink a Coke and they have a Coke in their hand, that's an ad, right? That's marketing, but it's sneaky marketing. So there's ways to do it where it's not intrusive. This is very intrusive. It'd be like watching the Avengers movie, right? You plop down your money, you pay for your popcorn and candy, you sit down, you're watching the Avengers, and boom, they interrupt the movie with an ad, and then you have to watch it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, man. This shit, it does not fly. But as far as Capcom, yeah, I mean, you guys obviously didn't make as much money as you needed to, so you feel like you need to go this route. I mean, maybe just go multi-plat again and make some money on the Xbox console and bring it over to the Switch. Do whatever you need to do to make the money, but do not go this route because it's going to backfire. If you think that Battlefront was bad with microtransactions and the way gamers responded to that, I don't know a gamer that would respond positively to intrusive ads in their games. And if they do, I mean, maybe you need to get your mind checked or whatever. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you on that. But you know what? Let's move on to the next topic. And I think it kind of segues in from screwing your fans to letting your fans know that what you pay for is what you get. The Outer Worlds will not have microtransactions according to Obsidian. And I think it was important of them to get out in front of this before the game releases next year. Now, in a story that I pulled from comicbook.com, the Outer Worlds Obsidian Entertainment's newly revealed RPG will reportedly not contain any microtransactions. This is according to a recent GameStar interview with Fallout series creator Tim Kaine. And in the interview, when asked specifically about microtransactions, Kaine responded, "There are no microtransactions in the game. You buy it once, you enjoy it forever." Now, I think that is as straightforward as they can be. And I'm going to tell you, there's a side caveat to this. He is the original creator of Fallout. Now, you and I both, for the last few weeks, have got on the air and discussed how terrible Fallout 76 is, right? We feel cheated. I bought the $200 collector's edition. It's out there in the open. I love the helmet. I don't love the game. And considering that this guy is attached, even though it doesn't work for them anymore, he's still attached at the hip because when you talk about Tim Kaine, you think about Fallout. So him getting in front of this, I thought was important because of all the backlash that Fallout 76 is currently having. What are your takeaways from this, Salty?
I think this is the perfect storm for Obsidian. I think they've capitalized perfectly off of the blunders of Bethesda and the Fallout 76 situation. I don't think it could have even gone any better for them. And this kind of reminds me of the situation in 2013 with the Xbox and the PlayStation reveals. It seemed like all the blunders that Xbox did, PlayStation capitalized on it, and then they moved forward. With Obsidian, they're doing the same exact thing, like with their marketing, the way that they're marketing it, the original creators of Fallout, like putting that out there, putting other, low-key shade on, the Fallout 76. And then now with the microtransaction situation, hey, we're not going to have microtransactions like Fallout 76. They didn't really say that, but that's what they're saying in essence. So everything that was like kind of frowned upon or looked down upon when it comes to the mainstream game and the game that's owned by Bethesda, they're looking at this, other games, Outer Worlds, as the real Fallout, like where it used to be and how good it is. Like you look at the comment section, and they're like, it's crazy. Like it's all positive, tons of positivity out there. People are excited for this game. They're excited for Obsidian to take the reins again, and it's just a perfect storm, like I said. And then who else capitalizes off of this is Microsoft, because they bought Obsidian at a low point before they revealed this situation. It's like hitting a lottery. It's like, hey, we find a perfect time and a perfect game to bring out, and their value is skyrocketing. You know what I'm saying? Like this game is really anticipated. It's going to sell well, in my opinion, score well. And then you have this franchise that is going to be moving forward with iterations. And then, who capitalizes off of that? That's Microsoft. So I don't think there's a lot of people that realize how big that move was going forward. So yeah, man, that's what I think, man. Boom, you there? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I had you on. Sorry, I had you on mute. I was talking to myself. Okay. And you bring up some really good points. More specifically, we know that Bethesda has a space-related game, right, coming out soon, but not that soon. And it looks like Bethesda is going to be caught with their pants down. And Obsidian, who has this game, who has been working on this game since 2016, is not only got out in front of it with with a reveal that showed off the game, which looks amazing. They got out in front of the microtransaction shenanigans, right? They literally put that to bed with one sentence, and now they're going to beat Bethesda to the point of release between this game and I believe it's called Starfield. Dude, I mean, could it get any worse for Bethesda? Is really what my next question is. What do you take aways? I mean, I know we're talking about Obsidian,
Yeah.
but with everything that's going on, that's going positive for that company, it seems as if Bethesda is really taking it, and you know where.
Yeah, I've never seen man, the positivity that was surrounding Bethesda is just totally flipped, man. You're looking forward to future games, like you said, Starfield. The engine rumors that they're going to be using the same broke engine, and the lies that were told by Todd Howard at the E3 event. Just everything, man. It's bad, but I do think they can recover. I mean, if they improve Fallout 76 somehow and do something with that, maybe drop it in Game Pass and hope people forget or something. Like time kind of heals wounds. People forget. Like you look at what's it called by Hello Games?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, right? That was one of the most hated games out there, right? Refunded, downplayed. They take a couple years off. They don't say jack. They disappear. They update their game. They come out with updates, improve the game, and then people are fine with it now. And I don't know, man. I think that you have missteps like this in the gaming industry, and as long as you admit that you're doing the wrong things, then you could fix the problems. But if Bethesda's stubborn, they don't fix things, then it could be an issue. Maybe the Fallout franchise suffers. I don't know what they're going to do going forward, and then Starfield, who knows, right? So.
Well, you know what? I mean, look, here's the thing. We've seen companies rebound from disasters. Ubisoft, one of my favorite companies, developers of this particular generation, I love all their games. What I didn't love was Assassin's Creed Unity. It launched broken. You had all those pictures of the scary face people running around. It just was a disaster. It's one of the few Assassin's Creed I never beat. I went back to it and I could not get into it, no matter how much I tried. And what did they do? They took some time off, and we got Origins, right? And they went back to the drawing board, and everyone forgave them. And now we have Odyssey, and everyone's basically throwing money at them as they walk in the streets. So Bethesda themselves can recover from this. I just think that what they need to do is revamp the engine and just take some years away from gaming. Keep publishing the games, the Dooms. We had Doom Eternal coming out. We have another Wolfenstein coming out. Just make the money on the back ends from that and just go back to the drawing board, because Todd Howard, for me as a gamer, is one of my favorite developers. He's really in your face. He talks to everyone. He's very active on Twitter. I really dig the dude. So I would like to see them make a comeback. But you know what? Let's move on to the next topic. And here's the thing. We're all gamers, right? And some of us, we get privy to alphas. And there is something called an NDA. And you basically don't physically sign the screen, but you're checking a box that says that you are not to stream, take pictures, or talk about the game publicly. You are basically a playtester. Now, a particular gamer who's a big-time streamer lost his entire library after breaking the NDA to stream Anthem on Twitch. Now, I'm going to say this. We are very lucky that we're playing games the way we are. Some of us, like myself, are even luckier who get into particular alphas. And I've played several of them. I'm in one now. Obviously, I'm not going to say what it is. And it's amazing. But I also understand that as a person who takes honor very seriously, You have to understand that you can't, as much as I want to scream to the rafters about what this game is and how good it is or how bad it is, I can't say a word. And that is the deal you make when you sign an NDA. Salty, you yourself, you've been streaming for a while. You're pretty popular, right? Everyone goes to your channel. You did an amazing review on Ashen. So you understand the business. And the business is I think it's self-explanatory. NDAs are serious. And if you want to participate in the gaming world past going to your local store, buying the game, coming home and putting it into your console, and you want to actually be at the ground level of some of these big time games, you have to understand what's at stake when you sign an NDA. What are your takeaways from this knucklehead who basically streamed the entire thing on Twitch?
I think this speaks volumes to some of these bigger content creators that they think that they're too big to be punished or held to the same standards. Honestly, you have a super chat right there, I guess.
Oh, you know what? First, yeah, right. Let me just I'm so sorry. I've been trying to keep up with the stories. First of all, I have to thank Michael Johnson for the $5 super chat earlier in the episode. He is a big time supporter of the channel. Michael, I want to thank you again. You're always here. Your support is unbelievable. Thank you so much. And Al Hogan, who supported the channel big way. Boom, my brother in blue. Love your shows. Keep it coming. Al Hogan is a police officer like Boom was. So the support from the brothers in blue that I have received is been nothing short of putting me into tears. So thank you so much for that. I'm glad that while you're on, you're in the RMP and you're just driving around and you don't have a call, you can listen, but just make sure to watch your six, sign out the end of tour, go home and enjoy the rest of your day. So continue, Salty. I appreciate it.
So yeah, like it speaks volumes to that. It's like arrogance, I guess, in content creators' sides, because I think a lot of them feel like they're just these superstars, or they don't get held to the same standards as some of these people, and that's fine in certain areas. That's true, but these are legal binding documents, and I think that people think that NDAs are just something you can brush off. I mean, they're legal documents. You could get sued for this stuff. I mean, losing your game library, is that bad? Yeah, man, it sucks. But would you rather be sued for thousands of dollars or what, be in a lawsuit? I mean, this is the situation with NDA, and I don't know if it comes down to just ignorance or laziness or whatever, but you need to know what you're signing. When you sign documents online, a lot of people just like, hey, all this fine print, just scroll through and then boom, I read it, right? Yeah, we all do it. Some of us, right?
We do. But you also know what an NDA is, though, Salty.
Yeah. So it's just non-disclosure agreement. You're not supposed to say stuff about it, man. We've all been there, and it's just like, yeah, you think that you're above the law or whatever, and then you get the hammer thrown down. I don't feel bad for it at all. Like, honestly, like I said before, this person could be sued right now. So, I mean, you lose your game library. I mean, Cry Me a River, they own those properties. If they feel like taking away the licenses, that's fine. I mean, in essence, we don't own the games that we buy digitally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. You're basically renting them, if you will.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd probably be really pissed. But at the same time, I'd look at it and be like, man, this shit could be a lot worse for me, So, yeah, if you sign an NDA, don't talk about it, But,
yeah, absolutely. And in the last story of the day, hackers have already hacked the PlayStation Classic, and Sony's lackluster security made it even easier. In a story that I pulled from Kotaku.com, they state the PlayStation Classic was a great idea that was disappointingly executed. Now, there's no doubt, you and I, Salty, have already talked about it. $100, technically $108 after tax, gets you the shittiest 20 games. Okay, maybe not all 20 are shitty. Maybe 16 of the 20 are terrible.
Yeah.
But the thing is this. According to the story, the hacking job has been made easier thanks to Sony's reportedly housing the key to decoding the PlayStation Classics firmware on the device itself. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me. Rather than utilizing a private key held by Sony, the underlying code that runs on the game console is encrypted to prevent people from tampering with it. But in this case, the tools to unlock and start changing how the console operates were available to anyone who dug through the code, copying it onto a PC. Now, Salty, we know that Sony in their past has had issues with security. We are now in 2018. Could you please tell me with absolute, truth, we're not picking on Sony here. We're just talking as gamers. Why the hell does security issues continue to happen with Sony hardware?
All right. First of all, I just want to speak on something that just kind of came to my thought process here. It all starts to make sense when it comes to this Classic. So it doesn't take a genius to access the menu in the PlayStation Classic. You hook a keyboard up, push escape, right?
Yes.
The key's available. It doesn't take a hacker to put ROMs on there or even upload stuff. I think what this is just PlayStation's like, okay, we don't want to really pay for licensing and stuff like that for like Tony Hawk or, get the music deals redone or whatever. We want to just throw this out there. So what this is, it's a glorified case, right? Like this PlayStation has a look to it, right? So people that like to play ROMs and that are nostalgic, they get to buy this $100 case and then they can hack it themselves to put ROMs on there. That's what this is. Like it speaks volumes to me when they allow this kind of a sloppy job there in the infrastructure and the security. It means to me that they don't care. They don't care if you hack this. They don't care if you upload new games on there. They're basically saying, hey, we're giving you this product out there. You do whatever you want with it. We don't care, right? That's just the way it is. Like if they really cared, it would be super difficult to hack. It wouldn't be as easy as hooking a keyboard up there and putting escape on it and having the key available. They would have took steps to secure it, but they don't care. Honestly, they know that the games are crap. They know that for the most part, people aren't going to be wanting to buy it if more games aren't available. So how do you bypass that? You allow it to be easy for people to access these games through simple, plugging in a keyboard, doing this and that, boom, you have a game library. They're not going to say it, but that's the way it's going, in my opinion. And then when it comes to all the other stuff with their issues, it just comes with infrastructure and the amount of money they're spending on it. They need to up the amount of money they spend on their infrastructure and their security. So that's my thoughts on it.
Well, listen, this is another black eye to the already overpriced and terrible games lineup. There's no doubt about it. And I can actually see this getting into those bargain bins a lot sooner than later. And you know what? If I could pick it up for $20, I might considering, fooling around with it because a lot of the PlayStation Classics, I would have to break out, my backwards compatible PS3 to play a lot of these games because I do have a PlayStation Classic library in storage. But I would give it a shot for $20, but I wouldn't spend $1 more. But anyway, this has been this actually has been an amazing episode, but more so a bit of a crazy episode. I first of all want to apologize for the unprofessional FedEx person that rang my bell during a live show. Listen, they're just doing their job. Real life happens. I think we recovered rather well. Oh, yeah. And of course, Salty, I really appreciate you stepping up. I like the host that you are and taking the reins until I was able to run back to my seat. So thank you for that. But you know what? You and I, we decided to do something a few months ago, and I think it's been great. The community has been absolutely fantastic. I just want to give a real big shout out to a few people that, as of today, have been they've become moderators of the Double Barrel channel. Salty, you're one of them. I added you. I added Lethal Papa, and I also added the Welsh Gamer. These are people that I trust who are constantly in the chat and will not stand for any racist behavior, sexist behavior, or any behavior that we find inappropriate. This is a chat that I really, really enjoy looking at, reading, getting involved, talking with you guys. And I appreciate everyone being nice with one another. This is supposed to be fun. Gaming is fun. But Salty, more importantly, listen, your channel is exploding. You are, I don't know, a few hundred subs away from 3,000, which is an incredible achievement in itself. You did a video of a video review of Ashen, which looked absolutely amazing. It was really one of my favorite videos you did this year. Please tell everyone where they can find you, and more importantly, subscribe to your incredible YouTube channel.
Well, thank you for that, Boom. I appreciate it. The kind words for sure. I'd like to speak to the community real quick. The communities that we foster here in these live chats are not like other communities. It's a very positive environment. And I know that Boom added moderators, but it's the responsibility of the community to kind of police itself when you get, you know, people that are trying to act in a negative or toxic way. It's just kind of policed by the community. I mean, if you foster a good environment, then people like that feel out of place. You know what I'm saying? Like, they come in, they start being toxic, and then they don't get responses, or it's not fostered like that, they leave. You know what I'm saying? So that it will take care of itself. But yeah, I dropped a review on Ashen. Not a lot of reviews are out there. Man, I went to task on this game, just grinded the game to try to get a review out there. And yeah, I spent a lot of time and effort onto it, more than I ever have on a review. So definitely check that out if you're interested in Ashen. It's on my channel. Yeah, I'll probably get a channel update video out, because I want people to know like what the specific direction of my channel is. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for that. And then, yeah, just going forward, just content. Follow me on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming, the Eyes of One, and great show today.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Yes, it was a fantastic show. This is a very, very busy week for Boom. Besides it being the holiday coming up, obviously, I have 3 other live shows happening. Tomorrow's show with the Welsh Gamer, which of course is the Xbox Factor podcast, which will be airing at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have, of course, Breakfast with Boom. I will be making an announcement, but we have some really popular YouTubers that are going to be guests, as well as 2 rookies that I will be introducing to the community. So I'm excited for that. And of course, the Saturday special edition episode. And this one gets, listen, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I have made a deal with the entire panel of the Iron Lords podcast, and we will be going to town Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. It's going to be an incredible 2-hour show where we're going to talk about how we grew up. A lot of people don't know this. We all grew up in the same area, never met, and we also shopped at the same import shop back in the days. And of course, if we met, we did not know. So that's going to be a super special edition show. I hope that everyone tunes in. I want to thank everyone that hung out today. We had almost 100 people watching. That is a big deal for me and Salty. We cannot thank the support that has been given to us by this amazing community. I want to wish everyone an incredible rest of your day. And thanks again for tuning in to the latest episode of Gaming News at Noon with Salty and Boom. Take care, everyone.